Could the soda you chugged at lunch pay tonight's dinner tab? Give me a few minutes, and I'll prove that one bag of tossed aside aluminum can feel like free money in your pocket. Picture this. I once crammed 3,200 empties into the back of a dented hatchback, drove 20 minutes, and walked out of the redemption center with $320 in crisp bills, enough to cover a week of groceries. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how I did it. How many cans you really need, why some states hand you 10 cents a pop while others barely cough up a nickel, and the one paperwork slip up that cost me an entire Saturday's haul. Stick around, because halfway through, I'm sharing the route planning hack that triples your hourly earnings without collecting a single extra can. First, let's get the math on the table, because aluminum pays in ounces and pennies. National scrap yards float around 50 to 60 cents a pound. California's payouts are wild, about $1.70, while plenty of states hover near half a buck. A pound holds roughly 32 to 35 regular drink cans. Call it 34 so your brain can chill. Stack those numbers in a non-deposit state like Georgia hands you maybe 1.6 cents per can, whereas Michigan's famous bottle bill offers a laser clean dime each. That six-fold gap is why canning pros in New York City hustle south to Connecticut and west to Michigan during summer festivals. The math simply explodes in deposit territory. One ambitious crew in Brooklyn bragged to the New York Post that a lucky Saturday nets them up to $1,000. Yes, 4 figures, in refundable containers. So if the price swings that much, why doesn't everyone do it? 2 words. Volume logistics. Aluminum weighs almost nothing. A single lawn and leaf bag stuffed to the drawstring holds maybe 6 pounds, $10 in Atlanta, 68 in Detroit. Lugging it is free cardio, but fuel and time burn profits fast if you don't plan. That's why today's playbook has 3 pillars: smart collection, smart compaction, and smart redemption. Smart collection means hunting where cans already gather themselves. Sports fields. Sunday morning, college tailgate lots, office break room bins, apartment complexes on move-out day. All loaded. Post a polite note, offer a free weekly pickup, and suddenly tenants treat you like the recycling fairy. My first steady score came from a brewery that empties 200 barrels a month. They hated paying commercial waste fees, so I traded free bins and a Friday pickup for every can they'd otherwise trash. That one account alone feeds me 25 bags a month, roughly $250 net, rain or shine. But sheer bags will swamp your trunk unless you crush. Enter Pillar 2, smart compaction. A $40 hand crusher halves bulk. A used electric can masher from a hotel bar crushes 2,000 cans an hour. I grabbed one off Craigslist for $90. It turned my garage into a fizzy aluminum hamburger factory and sliced hauling trips by 2/3, which means 2/3 less gas. Tip: never crush deposit state cans until you know the rules. Michigan barcode scanners need an intact body. Crush them and you're basically printing trash instead of cash. Pillar 3 is redemption strategy. 10 U.S. states run bottle bills: California, Connecticut, Hawaii, Iowa, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, New York, Oregon, Vermont. Each has quirks, daily limits, ID checks, bag tag systems. Connecticut now caps you at 5,000 containers per day unless you show ID, trying to throttle cross-border fraud. Break the cap and you risk a $500 slap, enough to nuke a month's margin. So spreadsheet your loads. I route through 3 redemption centers, never topping 4,500 at a single stop, and keep mileage tight. Google My Maps lets you pin every center, overlay operating hours, and color code by payout rate. 5 minutes on a laptop can save $50 in wasted detours. All that hustle begs one question: is it still worth the sweat when the U.S. aluminum can recycling rate has sagged to 43%, The lowest in decades? Absolutely. Because low recycling means vast untapped supply. Those cans sitting in trash barrels are basically nickels and dimes begging for rescue. At a July 2025 scrap average of $1 a pound nationwide, prices just cracked $2,006 a ton last week. Metal markets still crave feedstock. Supply them, and you're suddenly in business. Let me drop a day in the life so the numbers feel real. A summer Friday run goes like this: 7 a.m. brewery pickup, 9 full bins. 8 a.m. swing by the public pool dumpster, family swim night, left a mountain of soda cans, 3 bags easy. 9 a.m. college dorms, it's move out week. Halls hum with vacuums and undergrads dumping bins. Thought that I grab 8 more bags in 45 minutes, thank the janitor with a coffee, and bounce. Back home by 10 a.m., I flatten everything with the electric crusher, shower off beer splash, load the van, eat a burrito, then hit 2 redemption centers across the state line where the 10-cent law lives. I hustle 4,400 cans at the first stop, 440, 3,600 at the second, 360, and offload the rest, non-deposit wines, bent barcoded cans, at a scrap yard for $58 cash. Total day, $858 minus $40 gas and $8 burrito. Try finding that wage behind a desk. Now for the ugly part no one puts on Instagram. My second month, I ignored, can prep. Sticky soda molds fast, and scrapyards dock wet weight. I dragged 180 pounds to the scale, only to watch the clerk whack my payout by 15% for excess liquid. That penalty sliced off $27, more than my fuel. Lesson tattooed on my brain: rinse and drain. I built a quick dry station, a kiddie pool drilled with holes set on sawhorses. Dump cans in, hose, shake, sun dry, profit intact. Another hurdle is price volatility. Scrap aluminum swings like crypto when energy prices jitter. One week you're pocketing 90 cents a pound, next week 65 cents. Hedge with volume diversification. Mix scrap state cans with high deposit returns, and add other aluminum, old lawn chairs, bike frames, so you're not tied to beverage prices alone. Metal scrap indexes forecast monthly trends. Metalloop's July bulletin shows a 1.1% uptick week over week. Big enough to smile about. Small enough that timing loads can matter. Let's talk legal. States with deposits clamp down on outsiders. Michigan lets you claim only $25 in refunds per retailer per day, 250 cans at a dime each, before they can legally wave you off. Work around it by rotating stores or selling bagged, uncrushed cans to in-state collectors for 8 cents each. They pocket 2 cents. You avoid the cap and still double scrap state payout. Keep receipts. Police occasionally set up sting days to sniff out cross-state trucks. If they ask, you can show traceable pickup addresses. Grandma's barbecue leftovers, not an 18-wheeler from Ohio. By now, you see the blueprint. Find heavy flow spots, crush smart, plan routes, mind the laws. But how do you start today without a van or a footlocker of cash? Easy. Walk. One New York sociology study found canners on foot still clock $100 to $200 on busy city days, roughly minimum wage when you factor in steps instead of oil changes. My friend Carlos began with a rolling cart and a beat-up tarp. 6 months later, he'd saved enough for a used minivan. Your gear grows with your pile. Even a $10 thrift store bicycle trailer triples carrying capacity and cuts drag on your back. Climax time, the moment I knew aluminum wasn't just side change, but legitimate income. Last September, the city hosted a marathon that poured 50,000 spectators onto a 5-mile downtown strip. I scouted the night before, mapped public trash barrels every 50 yards, and stationed 2 buddies with walkie-talkies. Race day, We moved like clockwork. Fill, swap bags, stash behind loading docks. 8 hours later, a mountain of 42 contractor bags waited in my garage. Around 65,000 cans. Deposit state return, $6,500. Scrap state value, still $1,000 clear. We split it 3 ways and high-fived until our palms hurt. That single day paid a month of rent for each of us and buried any doubt that just cans could move the needle. Let's land with a checklist. Short and sweet so you can act. First, price shop redemption centers. Call 3, log payouts and limits. Second, lock 2 high-volume sources. A bar, sports league, or apartment block. Third, invest in a crusher before a truck. Bulk reduction earns faster than horsepower. Fourth, rinse, drain, and sort. Barcode good for deposit. Crushed clean for scrap. Fifth, track gas and mileage because net beats gross every time. Keep those habits 6 weeks and watch your free change jar morph into $100 bills.